time no vlog or see or talk. Well, I guess most of you guys who watch this follow me on Twitch, so I have streamed since. But yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since I've recorded or edited a vlog. So yeah, originally when I posted the last vlog, which was a queer. Also, don't mind my room. It's a mess because my life is a mess right now. Originally, I was getting back into video editing, and I had been pretty consistent uploading on my gaming channel, which is like I just uploaded stream highlights and stuff. And then I wanted to get back into uploading on this channel for my studio vlogs and vlogs, and I posted the aquarium video, and then I had started on editing for a recap of the first half of the year, and then as some of you guys know, my mom got hospitalized at the start of September, like after Labor Day weekend. It's Labor Day, right? Yeah. She got hospitalized for the same thing that she usually gets hospitalized for, which is, having trouble breathing. And I was hoping it would be the same as all the other times, where I called 911 for her and then she came back home. But yeah, it was really different this time. Like, everything felt like slow-mo, and then like I mentioned it to at least my patrons and stuff, but like all the events that led up to it were kind of unfortunate. Like the week before, no, 2 weeks before, like some Jehovah's Witnesses, like my uncle wasn't paying attention and they weren't paying attention. My uncle was sitting in his car and he was staring at his phone probably, and the Jehovah's Witnesses walked into our yard looking for people, to talk to. And then like he was getting ready to leave for work, so he leaves and he locks them in, and we have a remote controlled fence. And then so they're trapped inside the house, and then they found a ladder in our backyard and they climbed over, but like they initially tried to like pull it open, but they couldn't because it's electric. And then so they ended up breaking our fence. So the only way we can open it is like unlocking the mechanism. And so that was something that played a part in it too. And then the week after that, my mom had an operation on her arm because she was getting because she went to dialysis, and then she was getting a large bump on her arm, and then they did surgery to like cut it down and then like make a bigger opening for her. Yeah, so there was that. And then like, so usually when she goes to those operations, my brother goes with her and drops her off and then picks her up after. And like, she's never asked me to go with her before, but this time she wanted me to, and like I was like kind of annoyed about it because it, I don't know, I felt bad for it now though. Like, I was a little annoyed about it because it's like oh, why do you have to, like, why do you need me, because it's like every other time. But then she tells me like, oh, in case they want me to fill out papers and stuff. And then like she kind of guilt tripped me a little, which is a thing my mom does a lot, where she's like, it's like she was telling me like, oh, I want to live longer, like please go with me and stuff. And it's like, of course I want to go. And then so I went with her, but they didn't end up needing me because the hospital is pretty good at, like, they did an oral like sign in, so they just asked her questions and she easily answered it on her own. Like, she didn't need to write anything, which was the reason why she wanted me to be there in the first place. But she didn't need me in the end. And I told, like, we sat down and we were waiting for her surgery time, and then I was telling her like when we sat down, I told her like, oh, you didn't really need me. And then she was like, oh, well, I didn't know. And then like she sounded like rather apologetic and stuff, and it's like, and then she was like, oh, should I just call your brother to pick you up then? And then like in my heart I was like because she sounded like so, like she sounded so understanding and apologetic, I was like, oh, like in my heart I wanted to just stay with her and tell her like, oh, it's fine, like I'll just stay. And then yeah, she had already started dialing. And then the thing is, my brother, he has a short temper, so he, like, when he picked up the phone, he like was already kind of annoyed. He's like, oh, I just got home. And And then she was like telling him to pick me up, and then he was already like, okay, I'm gonna come. But then like I wanted to coin in and say like, no, it's okay, I can stay with her. And now I kind of regret not like just telling her it was fine, you know, because it would have been like kind of like the, I don't know, kind of like the last supportive, you know, thing I did. And I felt so bad that I didn't stay. Like I wanted to stay, you know, but then like circumstances of like she already called, and then my brother having short temper of like having to like, you know, come back and like pick me up. So yeah, I didn't want to like anger anybody, so I just went back. But I felt so bad, um, you know, because like I wanted to be there for her. Um, and then, but yeah, when we were waiting for my brother, she was telling me how like she wanted to live a few more years with us, and you know, like of course I want her to as well, but also that's like why I wanted her to take care of herself. But I don't know, like I can understand. I think I've talked about this before when I was venting before. Like I can understand having like an addiction and then like it being really hard to break it, because like obviously I'm I'm back to emotional eating after all these events. So I have definitely gained back some weight after like, you know, like last October I went back on cutting carbs and stuff, and I was like back on track, and then now we're back here. Luckily I haven't gained as much back, but gradually probably. But I'm trying to do intermittent fasting. But I'm trying to do intermittent fasting still. But yeah. Um oh, okay. So also I had gone off of low carb during the summer because my friend TK was visiting from Hawaii for Anime Expo, and we were gonna go to Disneyland, and then I wanted to try the Disney food, of course, so I went off of it. And then like my mom, she tends to like when I get off, when I start eating more carby food and she notices, she tends to like take take that as an excuse to buy food and stuff. And then like she kept buying like things that she couldn't eat, so I just kept eating them so she wouldn't, you know. So I stayed off of low carb longer than I expected. And then yeah, so going back to that Labor Day weekend, like the week before, like I had a few days before I had gotten sick, so I had been asking her to get me like pho and like noodle soups and stuff. So Saturday is one of her dialysis days, and she usually asked me if I wanted any food. And so because I was so sick at the time, like she mentioned like, oh, do you want noodles? And I was like, sure. I was thinking she meant like soup noodles. Then she comes home with like chow fun, which is like fried soy sauce noodles. And I was like, I was kind of a little annoyed because it's like I feel like she bought this, she tried to sneak some for herself, you know? And like you know, I feel guilty too, like, oh, I should have just told her no. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure she probably snuck some. But I don't know, it seems like every time she went to the hospital it was during like a 3-day weekend. And the doctors, like the last time she went in, remember I told you like the intervals between attacks were like getting pretty small, pretty short, and it worried me. And like I had like the doctors had noticed, so you know, something with her heart, which is why she had to start going to a heart doctor, which was kind of going to be in the vlog I was editing, just like mentioning that I had to go to yeah, because January 1st she had another attack, and then I had to kind of call 911 for her. And then after that time, the doctors asked if like she ever had like a heart attack or something. So then they sent her to a specialist, a heart specialist, and I had to go with her. And so we went to go check up with her a few times, like twice since. And like yeah, like I feel like the doctors knew like something was happening, because you know she had my mom has kidney failure, and it was like pretty bad, like end stage. And uh and then like the fact that she kept sneaking food and like hurting her kidneys, and then therefore, you know, like it hurts the rest of your body. So like I don't know. Sorry about like jumping all over the place. Yeah, the doctors had noticed something, so that's why they sent her to a specialist. I mentioned it here with you guys before too, like me not understanding how like her going, her having to go to the emergency room multiple times with the same pain, like not like how could she go back to, sneaking food and stuff. But then also like I understand like old habits die hard, and I don't know, there's a lot that happened in this, and it's like maybe also it's like maybe some mental health stuff, and like the old generation, they're not good at like talking about it, and like I don't know where I am with my thoughts here, but like maybe it was the stress of like everything going on, and then so she binge ate too. But and I think that's probably where I got it from, like my mom. I don't know where I am on the timeline right now. Oh, okay. So yeah, so that Labor Day weekend, she got another attack on the Tuesday, and yeah, the Tuesday she was supposed to go to dialysis, but it was like at midnight when she had the attack, and so it wouldn't be until a few hours till she went to dialysis. And like going back to the doctors, like the doctors had noticed like something like with her heart going on, and they also wanted to put her on like another half day of dialysis, and I kind of wish she really did that, because it probably could have helped her, because like there was a long gap between when she went to dialysis, because she went Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then the next day would be Tuesday. So between Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like there was a gap, and like I feel like she needed that half day. And she probably would still be here, I feel. Also, if she didn't sneak all the food, I feel like she would be here too. So the doctors had wanted that too, but she didn't want it because, like, she mentioned like it's her body, and like, it didn't make her feel good all the time. So I don't know. But also, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if I mentioned it here before, but I know I mentioned it to other slimes. But like, one of the things is like, sorry, I don't mean to like talk bad about my mom or anything, but one of the frustrating things is my mom cried wolf a lot, so it was really, really hard to like tell if she was being genuine or not. So that was like one of the annoying things, like 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 I wish she took it seriously. Like when I had to like start being like my mom's caretaker and uh like be close by to her, and she didn't go to work anymore, and then like a lot of things she did, like it made me realize that like if I wasn't her daughter, I would not like want to be her friend. Like I would not be a friend of her, like it's like mean to say, but like like different personalities basically. Like if I wasn't her daughter, then and we were just like people that met, then I probably would not choose to be like close to her. If that makes sense. I know I feel so bad saying it, but then I don't know, it's it's a whole thing. Our relationship was really weird because like we definitely did not get along all the time, and like my mom has caused me a lot of trauma in my life, and it's like, I mean, it's already like part of it is like who I am, like the person I am, like in general, but then also like the trauma my mom has caused me throughout my whole life, and like why like I felt like my childhood wasn't that great, and then also like partially why I wanted to move. Like when I went to college, I chose a college far away from my family because I wanted to slowly cut off ties with my family, basically, because of the trauma I grew up with, you know? Like that's why like I I don't know, it's really weird. It's really complicated because it's like I say all this stuff like, yeah, like I like I admit that I did not have a good childhood. It was not perfect, but there are like a few bright lights in it, like some good memories, but yeah, there was a lot of trauma and it was caused by my mom mostly. Um, like a lot of it, like a lot physically and mentally, and I think that's also why I have like really bad body dysmorphia, and then also like really bad eating habits, and like why I've been trying to fix my relationship with food. Also, sorry if it's a trigger warning for some of you guys. Um, but yeah, but but yeah, it's like our relationship is very complicated. But then in the end, I ended up moving back home, and then going to school down here, and then uh, but yeah, in the end, I ended up moving back home because it some some other stuff that happened within the family, and I just got really depressed, and I just moved back home, and then yeah, in the end, I ended up back here despite me wanting to, move far away and like slowly like break away. Like things in life did not turn out the way that I wanted, basically, and I ended up back here. And then, um, that's not to say like I wasn't grateful for it. My parents let me stay here for a long time without worrying about like rent and stuff, and I'm grateful. I don't know. Sorry, I keep jumping back and forth with my thoughts. Yeah, but anyways, like going back to it, it's like, yeah, we already had a rocky relationship, but like when I had to be with her next to her like every day as like a caretaker, it made me really realize that like I would not be my mom's friend if I was not her daughter, just because her personality is not like we don't have the same like mindset basically. My mom has good traits, but then also she had like everyone has bad traits. No one's perfect. But yeah, she was a, she was a feisty one. But yeah, there were some things that I did not like, such as like I mentioned, she tended to lie a lot and cry wolf in order to get her way. So like I don't know if like I honestly don't know if like her going to dialysis actually made her feel bad, or she just didn't want to go. Because dialysis is supposed to help you feel better. But who knows, because like allegedly it was so interesting, like literally after my mom had passed away, my brother sent me a video that he found on Reddit about the dialysis center that my mom went to, about how it's like kind of sus. So it's like maybe maybe she was telling the truth, but because my mom like cried wolf so many times, it's like when someone lies so many times, it's like really hard to trust. So that was an unfortunate thing. But yeah, anyways, so sorry. Sorry, I just keep jumping in tangents because my brain is all over the place. But yeah, going back to it. So yeah, I think maybe if she did another day of dialysis, it could have helped. But who knows, maybe it wouldn't have. I always think about something my mom said, like when my dad passed away, she always said like, if it's your time, it's your time. Like, what are you gonna do? So, I don't know. Well, that's what she said when my dad passed, so I don't know. But, so like maybe, it's like what if it was just her time? Because, one of the things that upset me a lot, yeah, one of the things that upset me a lot was like, my mom had so many chances, because, like luckily I was there like every time. Luckily I was a night owl because of her. So like every time she had an attack, I was awake at like 1 a.m. or something, and like I had to call an ambulance for her, and like luckily um she made it through. So going back to that night, she called me because she like I heard a cough. Like I was starting to clean my desk for so I can work on my Patreon rewards, so I can print them out and package them to mail. And then I hear a cough as I'm like starting to clean, and then in my head I'm like, I hope my mom like, I hope she's okay. And there's like, it's nothing, like it's just a cough where like she clears her throat because she does it a lot. But then next thing I know, like a few seconds later, she calls me like saying that she can't breathe. So of course I run over and like I started dialing 911, but like I felt a little guilty because I was obviously like really upset. Like I feel so bad about it now though, but like I looked at her while I was dialing, and I asked her like, "Did you eat something bad?" Like like I, like I obviously knew I was like disappointed, and like she like was in pain, like because she couldn't breathe. So, and then like she was just nodding, and like yeah, that's like one of my last memories of her. It's like she actually admitted this time that like she nodded, and I wonder if it's because like maybe she knew, or like the pain was that strong, like way more stronger than before. But then yeah, so this is where the series of events happen, where like I call 911, then they tell you, of course, like open the doors or whatever, turn on the lights, and then so we have the gate, so I had to go run out and open it. But because the stupid Jehovah's Witnesses broke our gate, I had to find the key to like um open up the lock mechanism, because around this time it's like midnight, and like I live in a quadplex with my dad's like two of my dad's family, my uncle and my aunts, and then my brother lives next door, and I live with my mom. So yeah, usually after midnight, my aunt and uncle, they lock it. So like I went out initially thinking that maybe it was open still, but they locked it already, so I had to run back in and get the key. And then usually my mom has it in a specific place in the kitchen, but it wasn't there. And then she yells at me and she's like, "Oh, it's in the living room." So I went and I found it. And then while I ran out to the gate, I could still hear her yelling like, "It's in the living room," and I wish I yelled back at her that I found it, because I feel like maybe because like she was yelling, she was so stressed out, like I couldn't find her or something, that maybe that triggered her like more stress to go into like cardiac arrest or something. But yeah, so when I ran out of the house, when I ran out of the house, I still heard her yelling, and then I unlocked the gate and I pulled it open and I ran back in immediately. And then like it was dead quiet, and like I just see my mom's head tilted back, and like that's when like panic ensued. And like because I was like panicked, and like you know like she was still like breathing, but she was like knocked out. So I like now I know like I should have just like done CPR or something. But like in that moment I was just like so freaked out because it had never happened before, and like I just kind of froze. So I called 911 back immediately, because they tell you like, "Oh, call back if you need if something changes." So I call back, and then like the operator is like, "What's your emergency? Like, what's your address?" And I like tell them everything. And then like I don't know, part of it I felt like kind of upset with um the whole 911 operator and stuff that night, because it's like I called, and then like I called back and I told her like I was panicked, of course, and I was like, "My mom's like, she's unconscious. Can you help me?" And then like they asked her the address again, and I give it, and then like the operator just goes like, "Oh, you just called," and I'm like, "Yes," and like, "Yes." Like I literally just called, and I'm calling back because like my mom's knocked out now. Um, and like I don't know, it upsets me because they didn't like immediately help. And then like because it's like for me it's like, oh, those like few seconds, like they probably could have helped. And then like at that moment like the ambulance arrived, and then I ran out. But yeah, that night it felt like everything was in slow mo. Like it felt like the ambulance was getting there so slow, and then like obviously the operator like not helping immediately. I mean, to be fair, like I get it, they have to ask questions and then ask the address, but it's like I don't know, like yeah, I don't know, but yeah, um, yeah, and then the paramedics, they kind of took their time getting in, and like I kind of wish maybe I should have rushed them in more, so more time lost. So a lot of it, I feel like part of it I feel like I felt bad about that night, because it's like I felt guilty because like because her life was in my hands, and I mentioned this to you guys before, that like I like being my mom's caretaker was kind of like pushed upon me by my brother and my mom, and it's like being a caretaker is a really big job, and it is a scary one because it's like I mentioned before, it gave me a lot of anxiety because, someone's life is in my hands, and it's like I can't even take care of my own self, Um, so yeah. um, and then they got her inside the ambulance, but they were like outside my house for quite a bit, so I was worried because usually they just zoom out and like go to the hospital. So I felt like something was wrong, obviously. And then they told me where they were bringing her, and then a few minutes later, I got a call, and it's from the hospital, and then they asked if they should resuscitate her, and I'm like, of course, yes. And then I guess I understand because like originally they had asked her before, because she's gone to the hospital before, like if she were to go in cardiac arrest, if she wanted them to resuscitate her, and I guess she said no because of probably the explanation of like there's a chance they could break her bones and stuff, and I can see that scaring my mom. But like me and my brother being her trustees, like luckily she took care of that at the start of the year. But yeah, as her trustee, she told us like she wants to live, and so to keep trying to keep her alive as medically possible. So of course I said yes. And then I got a call back again, and then they tell me it's critical and that like my mom had gone through cardiac arrest twice and to get to the hospital, and like yeah, that's where everything kind of just went downhill. Um I woke up my brother and his fiance, and we went to the hospital, and like we were I was relieved to see her breathing again. Um but like then they brought her up to the ICU, and then like my brother went to visit her in the morning because when we went there it was like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. And then in the afternoon my brother went to see my mom, and like he told me that like she had like really bad seizures, and it was like stuff of nightmares basically, and he was like happy I didn't see it. But then like after that, like every day after that, I went to the ICU to see my mom and hang in there with her. But yeah, so I went the next day with my brother, and then she was still having no, her seizures went down a bit, so then that was like, again, it was like a bit of a relief for me. And then they were just waiting for her seizures to go down so they can do the MRI test to see how like bad her brain was damaged. And then the next day we went, her seizures came back, and then the day after they were a bit better so they could do the MRI test. And then the day after that, they had me and my brother go in, and then, well, no, my brother dropped me and his fiance off, because he didn't want to know, because, like, I think in his heart he knew, like, based on what the doctors were telling us and how she was reacting, that, she probably wasn't gonna make it. So I went up there with his fiance, and then my mom's sister, my aunt, was up there too with my cousin's wife. So it was my aunt and my cousin's wife in there, and then the neurology team doctors came in and told us the news of like her brain was basically heavily damaged, and she's probably going towards brain death. And there wasn't any way that she was gonna wake up from it, and like, the part that made her was I'm getting a little choked up. The part that made her, the part that makes like your soul was basically not there anymore. Like the part that has all the memories and made her wasn't there anymore. And like any like reactions and stuff she did were basically like very primitive, just the body doing whatever. I don't know if my aunts really understood or not, but like as soon as the doctor started saying stuff, like I don't know, it was this whole drama fest. Like when the doctors came in, they asked like who was who, and then I said my daughter. I'm the daughter. My brother's fiance. I said, fiance, obviously, brother's fiance, and then my aunt, like, that was the first, like, thing that she did. She kind of scoffed and was like, not fiance, just, and and then, like, at the moment, I was just like, don't want to deal with this right now. And it's like, that's my brother's fiance. Like, that's what it is, what it is, you know? So I'm like, I just looked back at I like shook my head and I looked back at the doctors and I'm like, yes, my brother's fiance. And then, yeah, they told us the news about, you know, everything I just said. And then my aunt again, like, made a comment and she's like, I don't know if she understood what happened to my mom, like that she had double cardiac arrest. Cause yeah, immediately my aunt was like blaming me and my brother. She was just like, it's her kid's fault, you know, like causing her stress and all that. And I don't know. I like when she first said that, like, oh, it's her kids. I was just like, I just kind of just shook my head, cause like the doctors looked at her kind of like, you know, like a bit weirded out, cause they're just like trying to get the news out to us, and she's just like having the outbursts. And then but yeah, then the doctors continued to tell us the news and like what we should or what we wanted to do. The doctors had stepped out at that point, and then like my aunt started ranting again, and then she was saying how like um it's your brother's fault bringing that girl to live over there with him and causing mom stress. And I think that's when I snapped, because it was just really rude, you know, like 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 maybe like it caused, like, yeah, sure, it caused my mom some stress because I don't I don't know, I feel bad, but like my mom, like I felt bad talking bad about my mom sometimes, but like I said, my mom isn't perfect, and like one of the bad traits she had was she was very two-faced. So she would be nice to my brother's girlfriend or fiance. Like she would go over and talk to my brother's fiance. So my brother's fiance like is like, oh, I have a good relationship with your mom. You know, like she cared about my mom. But then like behind her back, my mom would like vent to, like, she would vent to me sometimes, but like thing is, like, I hardly knew my brother's fiance, and then I try not to judge a person uh you know, until I have had an interaction with them. But yeah, my mom would call my I know my mom would call my aunt and like vent to her about everything. But the thing is like with my mom, she would the thing with my mom was like she would make stories up, you know? So like the things that she would tell her sister at times were like not even the truth. She would just say certain things if she was like annoyed, you know, and make something up. And yeah, like I love my mom, but she had some bad traits, and that was one of them. Um, so yeah, so when my aunt said that, I kind of snapped, and because my aunt was blaming my brother's fiance moving in with him as the reason my mom had double cardiac arrest. And yeah, I snapped because it's like, hello? Like, my mom had severe. Oh, I think the thing that. Yeah, so going back a bit, when the doctors were in the room, my aunt was venting and being like, it's the kid's fault. Like, they stress her out. Like, I saw my sister, she was healthy. And it's like, hello? Did you. Like, why do you think she was going to dialysis? Was that being health? Was she healthy? Like, was she going to dialysis for fun? Like, she was sick, you know? So that was one, like, the second strike that made me like be like, hello. And then yeah, then when the doctors left after telling us everything, she started venting again and being like, it's your like if it's your brother's fault for bringing that girl to live with him, and like causing him stress. I mean, causing her stress, and like, you know, like that's when. But yeah, that's when I snapped, because it's like my mom is a hater. I'm sorry. Like she did not like most of who we date. Um like no one will ever really be good for her children except for like me. There there was a guy, except except for me, like the person I was seeing. Most of the time, my mom was not happy with who my brother was seeing, because it's like the stereotypical Asian mom thing, where it's like the son, like the wife has to be good enough for him, but like, um, I think part of it is also that made me angry is because like racism, obviously, because they're really old school, and like, um, they're it's so it's so dumb because honestly, because like, my brother's fiance is Mexican, and like she I don't know, my mom comments on it a lot. And then like I dated a Mexican guy and she was like, "Oh, Mexican guys are different." And I'm like, how is it different? It's still, a race. Anyways, yeah, my aunt just like started saying that stuff again, like, "Oh, this is the reason why she's in here." And then yeah, I just kind of snapped and like, because I was already really frustrated, like my mom's in the hospital and she's probably gonna die. Sorry, getting emotional again. But yeah, so I snapped at her because it's like, then it's like, like, yeah, I'm not supposed to get mad at elders, especially, because also it's like my mom's sister, and that's like my only aunt left on my mom's side, because my mom's sister is the only one living from her siblings now that my mom has passed. Originally, it was just her and my mom left. Um, but yeah, like, I know I'm not supposed to yell at elders and stuff, but like, it was just so out of line, like blaming everyone else and, like automatically believing some of the like lies my mom says about other people. Because like my mom, my mom is very fickle and two-faced. Like, if you do anything, like one little thing wrong, she'll automatically like start bitching about you to someone else, and then like she'll cool down and like forget about it. But like the other person's not gonna know, they're just gonna know all the bad stuff you're talking about them. But yeah, but yeah, but yeah, I got really angry in that moment because it's like my mom had so many chances. Like, my mom was not healthy. She had severe kidney failure. Like, her kidneys were only working at 4%, and like it was slowly affecting the rest of her body, and like she would take it seriously after a night emergency room visit, like for like a week or two, but then she'd go back to her old ways. And like, I can kind of understand like my aunt, like if she's saying that like my mom was stressed, so maybe she stress ate because of everything. But like, I can understand that because yeah, I stress eat too. But I feel like if like you're my mom and like you wanted to live a few extra years, and then also um like also went through all that pain, and like I feel like you would try your best, like not sneak that food. But also, like, old habits die hard, and like I'm not her. Like, I don't know what she was thinking and how, she wanted to do things, and it's her life. Yeah, my brother talks about it and he says like, it sucks that she's gone, but he's happy that she went out doing what she wanted, which was eating like all the good food that she wanted. But yeah, yeah, like, I don't know, maybe I was out of line, but I just snapped at my aunt because it's just like, it's kind of bullshit, because it's like you're blaming everyone else when like obviously your sister, my mom, was like severely sick. Like, she went to dialysis, and she wasn't fixing what she had to. And then also, like, maybe they were projecting because like they would go out with her and eat, and like from what it sounded like it didn't seem like they were telling her not to eat certain things, or like my mom didn't tell them, and so she could have whatever she wanted, Yeah, I mean, I feel bad because it's like, yeah, she's my aunt and that's my mom's sister, but also it's just like I was just really upset because it's like, obviously heard news that my mom's not gonna wake up again, and she probably won't be the same person if she did, but more than likely she wouldn't wake up at all. And then like hearing my aunt just like blame all these other things about like why she's in here, and it's like, yeah, I snapped because like I stopped and said like no, like no, that's not the reason why my mom is in here right now. Yeah, she had like so many chances to fix like her eating habits, which was basically like the main thing that was hurting her. Because yeah, because like if she, we felt like if she just did it from the start, she'd be here a lot longer, and then probably would have more time to like find a kidney donor, you know. But like, I don't know. And then also like, originally we wanted to do the home dialysis so we could watch her, but then she wanted to go to the clinic because she trusts like she wanted, she wanted like a actual medical center to do it. Yeah. Anyway, so it's been awkward with my aunt since she called me once, um, just to ask like what I was doing and stuff. Like when my mom was still in the hospital, and I told her I was like cleaning the house like in case my mom came home. But yeah, and then now, yeah, we're at the funeral. Like my aunt didn't really talk to me, and then my cousin's wife that was there also didn't really talk to me, and it's like, it's whatever, it's fair. It's but I don't know. It's like I'm usually the pretty quiet one. I'm usually like the pretty quiet and like nice kid, but yeah, I just really snapped that day because it was just like uncalled for and like rude and like unfair that she was like blaming other people for like things that my mom could have like worked on herself. That's another thing that like upsets me is my mom didn't like take care of herself and she expected other people to do everything for her. That's why like being her caretaker was not really easy. What ended up happening was it was just a roller coaster of things happening since then too. So the doctors, they like kind of convinced us that, we should let her go on like comfort care. So we asked for like a few more days because like our elders are they really heavily believe in like the lunar calendar of things happening. So, and then also like, some relatives could come and see her and say bye. So that like Saturday, a few of my aunts and uncles came by for support, and like two of my cousins came for support, and yeah, they took her off the ventilator that was helping her breathe. My mom is like a really tough cookie. Like she is a strong lady, and like that is one of the traits that is good about my mom that I hope to, have as I grow older. But yeah, she is a tough cookie because like they took her off the ventilator and she was like breathing on her own, like, but like she cognitively was not there anymore, but like her body was doing the breathing, and like they expected her to like to pass like they said like it could take like a few minutes or like a few hours, but they were expecting her to pass pretty soon. But we had asked them like if it's possible if she made it through the night if she could come home to pass because the elders wanted that for her because it's like good in our culture or their culture, for their tradition. So the doctors told us like, yeah, sure. So the next day happened and she didn't pass. So then like we were waiting for like news about maybe hospice at home. But then the doctor called my brother later that day and said that like her breathing had gotten kind of weird and she would probably pass going home, so they were gonna leave her there. So like we were obviously bummed out, And then the next day they called and asked if like she still hadn't passed. And then they asked us if we would still like her to come home, and we said yes, of course. So they sent us paperwork I filled out the paperwork for the hospice thing, and then the hospice guy called me. He was really friendly and nice. Um, and then, yeah, so we got the ball rolling, and they were like, oh, okay, we're gonna try to get her home by like 2 p.m. So I was excited, and I told my brother, and he was excited that, that last wish of like having her pass at home will be hopefully happen. And then we get a call back later that's like, oh, the doctor said like she might pass soon and you should go to the hospital. So we're gonna cut the hospice stuff. And so, yeah, of course we were bummed and then we went to the hospital. We went there at 6 p.m. We stayed there all night. And then, I could not sleep at all. Like, every so often, like, my mom would have seizures and then, like, um, her breathing would get, like, kind of weird and erratic. And, like, it's kind of haunting because, like, I would look at her and I would like tell her like, like it's okay, mom, like you can go, you know, um, and I told her like, it's like don't worry, but yeah, like it was pretty haunting because like she would have her seizures and like when she had her seizures, her eyes would like just open up, and then like they were really bloodshot and they would just be like staring at you, and like I think the thing that got me was like her eyes look like so sad, like they're like wide open and bloodshot and like they look like really sad, and but then it's like like obviously made me really sad looking at it, but then also like I had to remember like like the thing that made her her wasn't there anymore, like so that was a little comforting of like knowing like she wasn't there anymore to feel that pain, like probably her body was feeling the pain, but like she wasn't, because like she wasn't her soul wasn't there anymore basically. But yeah, it happened like every so often throughout the night, so I couldn't sleep at all because every time like she had the seizure spasm, like I was like awake in there because I didn't, I wanted to be there when she like passed. But yeah, like, and then the morning came, and then my brother had to go drop off his fiance at school, and then I stayed until noon. No, not noon. 9. And then like the doctors came in because I was sleeping next to my mom. Because my brother was gonna come back. But yeah, the doctor came in and he like apologized, and then he was like, yeah, we don't, you never know about these things. And then he asked like, would you still like the house like to take her home to pass? And I was like, yes, please. So he continued, he restarted at the hospice thing, and then so I got excited again, like, oh, okay, she's probably gonna get to pass at home. So then I told my brother and he picked me up, and then so I started getting the living room area. Like, good thing my brother had started cleaning it when my mom first got hospitalized, because we were hoping maybe she would come home and like wake up, and then like we'd have like a space for like a hospice bed for her, to take care of her. Um, so yeah, like uh the guy helping me with the hospice called back, and like he told us like, okay, we're gonna try to get this stuff by 12 and then bring her home by 2. And then yeah, 12 came around, they set up the bed, taught us about the air the air supply, and the tank and all this stuff. And then like I went to take a nap on the floor in the living room on top of my yoga mat because we have a carpet and it's pretty old and pretty gross because my mom didn't really clean it. Um, and then yeah, so I just took a nap and then like got a phone call back from the hospice guy, and they're like, oh yeah, so the doctor called and said, she might go soon. Oh wait, yeah. Well, the doctor called my brother and then like told us that like yeah, she's probably not gonna make it because her breathing is getting kind of weird again. So yeah, um and then the hospice guy called me back and told us what the doctor said, that the doctor told him that she's probably not gonna make it and that we should go, be by her side. So we went back to the hospital, and then we were there with my mom for like a few extra hours, and then like um she was going she started going through seizures again. Sorry, my bedroom's such a mess. But yeah, my mom was going through seizures again, and then they were getting really bad. So they came in and asked like if they could give her this other seizure medicine, and then the thing, my brother was like, oh, but the thing is like it's gonna like drop her breathing a lot, and then so originally my brother was like no, but then at the end he said like it was getting really bad, so the doctors came back and they were like, you know, it's your choice, but like um couldn't we like maybe convince you to do this because it's like getting so bad. And then like in the end my brother was like, yeah, like yeah, just do it, because like he didn't want me or his fiance to see my mom in that like severe seizure like nightmare mode that he saw that one day. And then yeah, after giving her that medicine, yeah, it did like her breathing did like stop or get slower. And then yeah, I looked up at the monitor and I saw it say like apnea, and I was like, oh, she's probably like, you know, passing. And then like I pointed it out to my brother, and then like we called the doctor, and then like they declared her officially, you know, deceased at like six I think it was 6:01 p.m. On September 20. Oh, speaking of, her birthday was September 12th, and she was in the ICU at that time. Like we bought her a birthday card, and my brother and his fiance bought her orchid, but they like because it's the ICU, like you can't bring flowers and stuff up because you never know about in like airborne like mold or something. So we couldn't bring that up for her. Um and yeah, luckily they let us leave the card though, and yeah, we ended up taking it back in the end because you know she passed. But yeah, it really sucks though because it sucks because I was like thinking about what I could cook for my mom this year for her birthday, like literally the week before like she got hospitalized. I just felt like the events for my mom passing were just like really unfortunate and sad, especially like it being her birthday. So, and yeah, I don't know. I was really hoping that like her the whole thing for with my mom, she went from like 0 to 100. You know, like I was hoping like they would save her after like that 911 call like they always do, and then like I could tell her like, mom, like you really need to take it seriously because you had like cardiac arrest. But you know, like she never had the chance. Like like from January to September she was doing really good. Like she didn't have any attacks, and I feel like it was probably like the calm before the storm. And also like she probably got like really complacent, you know, because nothing was happening, so she probably started sneaking food a lot more frequently. And like we know she was because like she went to really like extreme extents to like hide food from us. Like there was an oatmeal box and my brother found some Fritos in there, uh and then he and his fiance went through my mom's room while I was in the hospital with her to like clean it out in case like she came home, you know. And they found like all this stuff, and then like we put all the food that she was sneaking in like a bag, and we called it like the bag of shame. Sorry, mom, but yeah, it was a full like gallon bag of like junk she could not eat, and even like half-eaten things like a half-eaten banh mi, like just sitting there like she like forgot about it, you know. But yeah, with my mom, I felt like so abrupt and sudden, which is why like right now it still feels like surreal, like because it feels like, you know, she's not really gone, but every time I look into the living room, like we have her little offering house and table, and it's like, you know, it's like snap back to reality that yeah, she is gone. Yeah, my mom like the day before, like she was hospitalized, she was fine doing the same thing she always did, yelling at Milo. um yeah, and then next thing you know she was gone. And yeah, just it's really unfortunate. And then like on top of that, like the roller coaster that we went through with my mom after, it was like so emotionally draining. um it's like, I don't know, it's so weird. It's like my dad, like we could tell he was like naturally, gradually, you know, going to pass soon. And then his funeral was during COVID, so you know, not a lot of people could go. And then, so I was really sad about that. And then also because it was COVID, we couldn't get a lot of things for the funeral, like the right kind of red envelopes, for example, and like um you were supposed to do the burning of the house, the paper house offering, the offer. You're supposed to do the burning of the offering house after the 100 days because it's a 100-day ceremony. But because of COVID, like we couldn't do that, so we had to wait a whole year to do that for my dad. But for my mom, like we got to do everything like properly for my mom's funeral ceremonies, even though she told us she didn't want like she only wanted the one, not like the double. But we still like did everything equally for her, like because you know we don't want to do favoritism between her and dad. So like she got like a full, you know, proper ceremony. But then like my mom, like her passing was like very traumatic and like a roller coaster basically. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's like you can't really you know, it's like you can't shouldn't really compare like you can't really compare, but it's like it's weird. Like when I think about it, it's like weird because it's like dad passed and like we knew he was slowly dying. uh yeah, but then it's like, you know, like dad passed and we knew like he was, you know, slowly gonna go, but then we couldn't have the proper ceremonies because of COVID. And then for my mom, it's like it was so sudden and it was such like a traumatic roller coaster, but she got like a proper ceremony. Yeah, it's like the trade-off, you know. And it sucks like that they both didn't just have like I don't know. Yeah. Currently right now, we have the 47th day. So the 47th day offering was on Monday, and now we just have to wait for the 100 days to do the 100-day ceremony. And the 100 days of mourning for me and my brother ends in December 28th, I think. Um so during the 100 days period, we can't celebrate like really do big ceremonies, can't go to weddings, can't go to baby showers, that type of thing, because it's like one, you don't want to you're supposed to be mourning, you know, you're not supposed to be celebrating and showing that you're joyous that the person is gone. And then I think I mentioned this before. Remember, I was getting back into dressing up because I also had to take a break because like remember I got back into EGF fashion and stuff, like, and then my dad passed away, and then like because of being in the extended 100 days mourning period, couldn't dress up, and like I can't wear jewelry, so I took off all my jewelry. um makeup makeup I don't really wear, and then I can't cut my hair and I can't cut my nails. That's why my nails are like so long. Usually I used to keep my nails long when I was younger, but like I can't right now because I can't really stand it when I'm like typing and stuff, you know. It kind of gets in the way, but they are cute. You gotta just get used to them again. But yeah, like can't cut my hair, can't cut my nails. Like I can't cut my toenail, which is kind of gross. But yeah, like stuff like that. It's like um can't really dress up really lavishly. Like I'm wearing like I like try to wear clothes that I enjoy still. Oh, can't wear bright colors, so I've been wearing a lot of my black clothes and kind of back in my channeling my goth thigh. But then it's like I can't really do makeup anyways. So, we're in our soft goth phase, I guess. And then I wear GIK obviously, and then currently can't really wear Lolita fashion because it's really, you know, ornate. Um, yeah, a lot of the stuff I can't really wear jewelry or makeup. Like the most I can do, and I do, is like some concealer if I am going out somewhere because like my dark circles are so bad. um, but yeah, no jewelry. So haven't really been dressing up again, and yeah, it kind of sucks because like I was getting back into my dressing up because the pause and the depression from my dad passing, and then now I gotta do it again with my mom. So I haven't been dressing up too lavishly. Um, I still, I mean, I try try to wear, I try to wear my black clothes at least because it's still cute, but I can't really um style it up. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, after that, after the funeral, my brother and I had to start doing the. Well, we were supposed to start it earlier, but like we couldn't because of we hadn't buried my mom yet because of the alignment of the stars. But um, yeah, so my brother and I had to start doing this offering every Monday. We do a big offering for my mom, and like we call her home to have dinner and stuff, like helping her find her way. And um, yeah, we did it for our dad too. This time though, like no one were our relatives weren't actively there to help us. Because when it was my dad's, they helped us because I guess it's because it was their brother. Um, but yeah, for my mom, they told us what to, or they told us the dates, and they told us a general reminder of what to do. But for the most part, we got it. We forgot maybe a few things though. For the first few weeks, we forgot to do the 3 incense with the candles in the daikon. So we just did the candles in the daikon. But like and then like the week that my aunt came over to do it for my mom, because there's one week where the family does it, not the kids. And then yeah, my aunt did it, and then we're like, me and my brother were like, oh, oh, like, well, to be fair, they didn't remind us and they didn't help us. So but for the most part, we like remembered most of it of what to do. My brother was saying that like, oh, I don't think, despite us not doing it like exactly like our aunts, like he said he felt like mom didn't mind, like because the day after we saw a monarch butterfly, and we like very rarely see those around in our neighborhood. Like we usually only see like the white butterflies in our garden, but yeah, we had a monarch butterfly that was just like hanging out on the wall on my side of the house where me and my mom lived, and it was just staying out there the whole day. So like there's that belief that after a loved one passes, a butterfly or a moth can come by, and it's supposedly like the soul of your loved one visiting. And like um I know some people think that stuff is like whatever, but I believe it because like I remember when my dad passed away, a moth was in my room, and it was like not like your usual moth. It seemed kind of weak. And then when my mom passed away, I also saw a moth in my room, and again it was like not your normal moth. It was like pretty weak. Like it wasn't like if I moved close to it, like it wasn't like flying away. Basically like every Monday when we would do it, we would see butterflies. We would see different butterflies. So we were like, oh, okay, so mom has come home basically, and like we may not have like done it exactly like our relatives, but like mom didn't seem to mind, basically. Like my brother saw a butterfly that was like blue. That's not normal for our part. Actually, the first butterfly we saw, I think it was yellow. I don't think it was orange like a monarch butterfly. Anyways, then the week, no, the day that our aunt did the thing, well, the day like before she did it, I saw a butterfly that was like orange and black, but it was more like triangular, had more triangular wings, because you know how monarchs have like more of a round with the little teardrop. Yes, but I saw one with like more angular wings, and like I googled it later, and apparently it's like the one that I found, it was like a butterfly that we don't have in this area at all. It's like apparently like you can find it in Southeast Asia though. And then I thought that was like interesting. and I pointed out to my brother because my mom like grew up in Vietnam, even though like we're not really Vietnamese, but she grew up there, so like she, it's her culture. But but yeah, I thought it was interesting because like it's a Southeast Asian butterfly, and it's like here, and it's like mom grew up over in Southeast Asia, so yeah, it's like it was a very interesting, thing. So, but yeah, I believe my mom was visiting. I don't think she minded that we forgot like the 3 incense for the daikon, because I think she found her way to us regardless. And like another thing is like a lot of like, so I have one really religious, superstitious aunt, and like she's the one that my mom didn't really get along with. I remember like my mom passed, she's very superstitious, my aunt, and she was like saying how like, oh, if you see like your mom and she tries to touch you, like I guess like her spirit, her ghost visits you, and she tries to touch you, you like just yell at her and say no, like you can't just watch us, but you can't touch us. And I just thought that was kind of weird, but I feel like she has just negative energy where like spirits, negative spirits go to her, because apparently like one time she had like I don't know, maybe it was my grandpa or something, or grandma passed, and then like something grabbed onto her, and then yeah, so I think that's why she was warning me. But then, but yeah, I was just kind of like a bit weirded out. But then also I was like my mom can be kind of feisty. Like she was kind of feisty, but honestly, I feel like she ultimately had a pretty good heart. Like that was how I felt, and like we haven't had any issues. Like we've only had like butterfly visits, and yeah, but me and my brother were talking about it, and we were like, yeah, maybe it's because when my brother said it, he was like, maybe it's because she just has negative energy, like. But yeah, like, despite like feeling bad about like what happened that night, because I was like basically the last person who saw her. Um, like I don't feel like my mom is a vengeful spirit type of person. Like I know she like argued with us a lot just because that's her personality. Like she is a very angry speaking tone person. But I feel like Cantonese kind of is like that. Like, I feel like Cantonese is like the German of Asian languages sometimes, because it can sound like pretty Angies. But yeah, my mom was just always kind of like an angry talker, but I know deep down she like cared about us and loved us, so I don't feel like she would be vengeful. And then honestly, I did blame myself, like, when everything happened, because, I was the last one to see her and called 911 for her. Um, like, I would like to believe, like, she knew I tried. So yeah, that's where I've been. This house is really quiet without my mom, and I miss her a lot. Like I said, like, our relationship was really complicated, and, like, she caused a lot of drama and trauma in my life, but I still miss her, and I love her despite it. Like, it's weird because, like, you know how it's like there's just some families where it's okay to, like, break away from your family, your parents, if they weren't like great parents, and it's like no, my parents weren't like terrible. Like, my dad tried his best. Like, his goal was try to make us all happy in the end. And like, my dad is a good guy. Like, out of my parents, I most like my dad. We're both quiet. We both mumble a lot. um yeah. But I look a lot like my mom, but I'm a lot like my dad. um yeah, he was a really nice guy, but just definitely got like pushed a lot, and like was really gullible, and that's a whole other story. But yeah, uh, yeah, like my dad tried his best. Like, he just wanted us to be happy and be taken care of. And like, because they're very traditional, of gender roles, my dad put a lot of like responsibility and weight on himself, and like that's another part of, yeah, I don't know. I'll my family situation is like it's it's a thing. Like my dad's story is kind of tragic in his own way, and then yeah, like my dad had a lot of money trouble, but it was because of like when we thought about it in the end, it's like it's because he wanted to be the provider, but then also like the way that the gender roles were, and then the way that my mom was like my mom definitely added to putting him in debt because she was very materialistic and like her ideals about relationships were definitely based on media, like how relationships should be, like being gifted expensive jewelry and stuff. And yeah, so my mom definitely aided in putting my dad in debt, but then my dad aided in putting my mom in health her health in jeopardy because he was very into like old Chinese medicine to solve things, like versus like I think when my mom first got like a warning about her kidney failure, like he was like, "Oh, just drink this like type of water and then it'll like heal it." And like my mom listened to him, of course, but then like she ended up getting worse. So yeah, they kind of both worked in ruining each other basically. I don't know. I think also because of my parents and their like relationship growing up, like I feel like they definitely skewed my relationship um point of view, and like I think that's why I have a lot of relationship like trauma too, and like very very like also on top of like me trying to fix my food relationship trauma, it's me trying to fix my how relationships work trauma, because like I think like I used to be very romantic, like I was a romantic, but then like being like uh after being jaded and stuff from being like knocked down so many times, it's like I I got a bit closed off, and then it's like I'm in the kind of asexual. I call like I'm like a demisexual person, so it's like I won't be attracted to you unless like I feel like I can have like some piece of comfort with you, So yeah, it takes a bit to like get to me emotionally, like relationship wise, but yeah. But yeah, like definitely trying to fix understanding of relationships on my end. So that's where I've been. Still dealing with mom aftermath. Like currently I had to cook for her altar because I did that for my dad. But oh my god, another thing that sucks is like um because we had to wait the extra year for the 100 days thing for my dad because of COVID. I only got 2 years of doing Lunar New Year stuff or with my mom, and it's like this year it was pretty good. Like I remember the first year we did it alone without dad. Like my mom burnt me, on accident of course, but she yelled at me regardless. And then this year it was a lot better. Like we got it down pat together, but like on my own, like I wouldn't be able to do it, And it's like now like I have to do it alone if I do it next year. Um yeah. It sucks because it's like I only got 2 years to do it with her, like, and I was still trying to learn. Um like I could have my aunt and uncle and I could ask them, but also we're not that close and I'm very shy. But yeah, it sucks. Like I don't know, my one of my aunts, my dad's youngest sister was telling me like how when both her parents passed, like my grandparents, like feeling like they were orphans, but we're at the age where we can probably like take care of ourselves. But yeah, I definitely know what she means by that, because like I don't have a mom or dad anymore, and it like feels so weird, and it's like I haven't even gotten married and I don't have grandchildren. Like I was really hoping like my mom would be around for a few more years, and my brother too. Like him and his fiance were like hoping to have children and like have our mom, you know, she can take care of them and stuff. And you know, she's not here anymore either. So yeah. I'm getting a little emotional. But yeah, it's like I it's like losing one parent, but then like when my dad passed, I still had my mom, you know? But then now it's like I don't have either of them, and now I'm like, and yeah, it's like when, like if I get married or have kids, like none of them are gonna be there, and it kind of sucks. But yeah, oh, I'm gonna cry. But yeah, when my parents, their parents passed, like you know, they already had families, you know, but me and my brother, we don't. Like my brother has his fiance though, and they have a dog, and I like luckily I have my mom's dog. She left Milo, so I'm taking care of him as like, you know, an extension of like showing that I cared about her because I care about her dog. Milo and I have definitely gotten a lot closer, so he's kind of like my baby now. So it's kind of like he definitely is helping me kind of hang in there because I have to take care of him. But yeah, but then also Milo's getting old too, so I'm like, I don't know what to do after that. In this house, it was just me and my mom, so now it's just me and Milo. But yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble, and that's where I've been for a while. Yeah, I had started editing that recap of the year vlog, but like, of course, it included my mom, and I like at that point I was just like, should I even do it still? Because you know she's gone now. I mentioned before she went to the hospital in January, like the first week of January, and then we had to go to the heart doctor, and my mom got in a car accident. Those are the major things with my mom. But after that, like she was pretty good until September, and yeah, yeah, like I said, like my mom wasn't perfect, but and like I said before, like I, you know, was trying to move away from my family because, you know, I didn't have a good time. But like looking back, it's like they weren't the worst, and like I can kind of forgive, you know, because different generations, you know, and like at the end, like I, for the most part, I know they meant well. Like my dad, for sure, he meant well. He just gave me a lot of anxiety because like we like he was that strict Asian dad that, you know, they weren't good at showing emotion. But then it's like I'll think back on some things and it's just like my dad cared about me. Like I remember I came back for college for winter break one time, and he like, very out of character for him, but he brought me to see Christmas lights, like, you know, houses decorated in Christmas lights. And like looking back, like I wish I cherished that a lot more because I was a moody college kid, you know, going through my drama, and I was like very emotional, like, you know, stupid boys and stuff. And it's like if I could, I wish I could go back in time, but like have the brain that like the knowledge I have right now, you know? Like that's like my one wish. Like if I could, I would, you know. And then yeah, I mean my dad did a lot of things that, you know, like looking back, I don't know. I wish I wasn't like I know why I was like moody and depressed and sad and all that. And like part of it was like, yeah, because of my family. But then also it's like when I think back on it, it's like my family, my parents tried their best, you know, like different generations, but my dad cared about me. I remember one time like they would visit me in NorCal because I was in school in NorCal because I went to Davis. And then I remember we went to a buffet one time, and my mom was telling me like, oh, your dad says like if you brush your hair aside, like you'll look prettier, because you know I was like that emo kid. I was still in my VK stage of style, so I had like side bangs and like all that jazz. So it covered my face and my eyes and stuff. And yeah, my dad was telling me that, like, oh, if you just brush your hair aside, you look prettier and stuff. And of course, you know, like you're a moody teen and you're like, meh. and that's, and then like also back then, like I couldn't take a compliment, you know, like I'm trying to be better about it nowadays, but my self-esteem was so bad. But it was because partially because of like my parents, you know, because like they're very traditional and they're about like traditional beauty standards. And like I am not your standardized thick skinny Asian girl, you know, like I'm a bit thick and like you can see in my face. But yeah, like I've always been kind of thicker, and you know, like I wish like I didn't care, like, but back then I was like really like my self-esteem was like really bad that like I believed everyone. And then like when I look at pictures of myself back then, I'm just like, I wasn't that bad. Like, but you know, like how society is. So, like, ingrained in my head, I was bad. But, like, when I look back on those pictures, I'm like, I wasn't that bad. And, but now I have, like, really bad body dysmorphia because of it all. But yeah, but yeah, because of that, like, I know why I was acting like that, you know? Like, my parents telling me something nice. Like, I didn't believe it because, you know, they had put me down so many times. So I was just like kind of brushed it off, and I don't know, stuff like that. Like I look back on it, it's like, oh, it's my parents really trying their best, and I wish I could go back um to baby thigh and like, you know, I wish I just go back with like the knowledge I have now, and then like maybe like it's like if I think like so recently I've been like hanging with my brother. Actually, my brother has become like a lot more brotherly since my mom was hospitalized. Like, it makes me sad though, because then like I was sitting in his living room with his fiance one time, and my cousin was over, and I was just like thinking about it. It's like, man, I wish we had these like gatherings like this with like mom. You know, it would have been nice to actually be a family. But like basically after my dad passed, my brother kind of like was in his own little like bubble, and he was kind of an asshole to me and like my mom. But I also kind of understand why, because like a lot of responsibility went on my brother after my dad passed, and like my mom, like obviously him and her clashed a lot. So I kind of understand why he like closed off, like he wouldn't like let her over ever so often, because you know it usually ends in an argument because my mom is like a very pushy person like that, and she always talks about the negative, or she always like wants to pick a fight basically. So like I get it, but then also like I get it, but then also it's like it made me sad because it's like, oh, I wish we could have like, you know, sat here like a family at least once. Like the last time I was a family was before my dad passed away. It was the Chinese New Year before he passed, because he had come over for New Year's, and like, you know, we had our family dinner. So it was my brother, my mom, him and me. And then I just remember that night my dad laying on the couch because he was like not feeling good. And then after that, like, you know, slowly. Yeah, sorry I keep rambling, but yeah, I don't know. Like, my mom wasn't like perfect, like I said, but she had her good moments. She was cute at times and stuff. She was just very stubborn, and yeah. I hope if I ever become a mom that I will get along with my kids, you know, and that I feel like for the most part I'm a nice person. So and also because like learning from my parents of like not what not to do, and like knowing like what I would want from like parental figure, like I hope if I do have kids, like, you know, I can be a good parent to them, like with my knowledge of like what to not do, and you know. But yeah, I always wish that I had like more of an understanding, supportive family, and like to be honest, I guess they kind of, excuse me, and to be honest, I guess they were kind of supportive in the sense that they didn't like force me to not follow my dreams, even though, you know, they didn't understand or agree with it. Um, but yeah, I mentioned this to Slimes as well. and on Twitter that like one of the things is like my mom, I feel like she was gradually kind of understanding what I did, like art and stuff. And I remember one of the last good memory, like when my cousin from my mom's side of the family came to see her the day that we put her on comfort care. um he like was talking to me. I was like, oh yeah, so your mom told me that you do like freelance and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah. And like hearing him say that like kind of made me feel a little happy, like that she even understood that, you know, because like I feel like they always just kind of assumed I was in my room doing nothing, you know? But I was like trying my best to build a name for myself and do things like stream and build my community and then do my art stuff and gallery shows, which I wish I shared more with them. But then also it's like it was really hard to explain to them, like, you know, like I would have invited them to my gallery shows, but it was like, yeah, really hard to explain. But yeah, so basically like my mom was slowly kind of understanding like my world. And there was one day that Capcom had sent me a large package, flat package from, but I didn't know it was from Capcom until I opened it. But my mom told me that I had a package, and I was like, oh, I have a package. And then she was there while I was opening it, and then I was like, oh, it was from like work, basically, because you know I'm affiliated with Capcom and it's for stream. And then yeah, they had sent me a Ghost Trick poster and keychains, and then like I like pulled it out and I showed my mom. She was like actually like pretty excited, and she was like, oh, you should frame that, like, you know, being supportive. And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. And I told her that I would when I found a frame for it. But yeah, it was actually like really nice to have like that moment with my mom, and like then hearing my cousin say that like, oh, my mom said I did freelance and stuff. And it was like, oh, she was like kind of slowly understanding like my world, despite like how traditional she was, you know. But yeah, it's like it was like baby steps, so it felt kind of nice. So yeah, I wish my dad kind of understood too, or like the rest of my family members, like the elders. But it's because it's like, you know, they're very traditional, so it's 9 to 5 is like the normal thing for them. But yeah, yeah, it was kind of nice to know that my mom was like slowly understanding that what I did like with my art and stuff and streaming. So that was kind of nice as the last thing. But I wish she was here longer so like I could share more with her, you know. I mentioned this before too, how I felt like my family was cursed from the get-go because my dad's family number is 4, and 4 is unlucky in most Asian cultures, because in Chinese, Japanese, it's like the same word for death. So that's why I always felt like our family was unlucky, because like, yeah, if I compared our family to like my cousins or something, it was like our family is like really dysfunctional. Because my cousins, my cousins I'm closest with, I'm not really close with I'm not really close with my family though, because I've been pretty locked away because of family trauma growing up. But yeah, like looking at my dad's older brother, my uncle, um, like his family, like his kids, I was most close with growing up. And then, yeah, so like looking at them, like I was like, oh, that's like, I mean, not every family's perfect, but it's like, oh, like they're pretty close knit, in a sense. Uh, and then like I remember one time my cousin telling me when I was like younger, like her parents going out on a walk and they were holding hands and it was cute. And then like, you know, like obviously I was like thinking like, oh well, my parents don't do that because my parents just argue and my mom throws cups at my dad. Um, yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, I remember I was in 4th grade and my mom threw a cup at my dad because I don't know, like she started arguments a lot over like petty things and basically be dramatic like TV shows. and she would watch Lifetime a lot, so yeah. But yeah, I remember that was when I was in 4th grade, and my mom would always like threaten to divorce, and then of course she would come to me and my brother and ask like, who would you go with? And like that's the worst thing, to put kids on the spot, you know, like yeah. But yeah, like I said, I always felt like my family was cursed because we were the 4th family, and that's why I felt cursed most of the time. But I was trying to do lucky girl syndrome this past year, but you know, life happens. It also sucks because like it wasn't until this year I barely started like feeling I was finally feeling like I was getting the hang of juggling, taking care of mom, and then like starting my stuff back up after like taking a hiatus of healing from dad passing away, and like because I started Patreon and stuff, and um yeah, and then of course like right when I was like getting back into the swing of things and then like producing more things and posting videos, this happens, and it's like I always feel like the universe is out to get me because every time I feel like, you know, picking myself back up, universe kicks me down again, and it's like, can you not? And yeah, it sucks. Like, it really sucks to have lost both my parents in like such a short span of time. Sorry, I'm still jumping back and forth on thoughts, but yeah, I've been trying to spend a bit more time with my brother and my cousins when they want to hang out, because usually I would not hang out with my family because of, like I said, family trauma growing up and like kind of wanting to distance myself. But yeah, like I don't know, I think having both my parents pass, and then like actually when my dad passed away, I remember I talked to one of my older cousins, and then she was talking about like, you know, seeing the family and stuff too, and like I wanted to make an effort when my dad was getting sick, when he first was hospitalized, but then COVID happened, you know, so like I couldn't like mingle or anything. And then like and then yeah, my mom, and then it's like um don't want, like the only times I see my family is like these event like funerals, and it's like I don't want, like it's not the greatest circumstance. Anyways, after my parents passed, I started feeling like a little sad that, you know, we weren't a really close family. But yeah, I'm trying to make an effort to hang out with my family whenever I can. And then sometimes I just feel out of place still, because like I've always felt like a black sheep in the family, because I am very different. Like I've always been very alternative, I guess. Like old fashioned and all that, and I dyed my hair, and then like the elders would, you know, obviously like scoff at it, and it's like, you know, whatever. Like I'm never gonna change. I'm still gonna be dressing in old fashioned and stuff, and it's just me. Cousins are a bit more understanding because they're like my generation, but elders, yeah. That's why I kind of avoided family gatherings, and the only times I would go was because my dad forced me to, because I because I just had social anxiety and I just didn't feel comfortable, you know. Also, like my ADHD, like I get really bored pretty easily, and also like the things that they enjoy doing, I'm like not really like I just want to play video games and do art and play video games. But yeah, and then like the few times I have hung out with my cousins, it always involves drinking, and I don't really want to drink. And then like my brother and my cousin's husband always like egg me on to drink because they're like, "Oh, you're not driving and stuff." But then it's like I haven't drank like I drink socially sometimes, but not like drink after drink. You know, like I'll have one drink just to lighten up, but not like hammering drinks down, you know? It's not my type of fun. My type of fun is just playing games or something. But yeah. So yeah, it's like yeah, after like the third time they did that of like making me drink, like take shots and stuff, I was just like I had to put my foot down because it's like I'm not having fun, you know? Like I don't want to drink. Like drinking for fun, like drinking, like guzzling down drinks is not my type of fun, you know? Like I am a chill person. I like like birthday parties I enjoy with balloons and cake and food. You know, I'm like very childlike, I guess. I'm trying my best to see my family when I can, but right now can't really do like major events. Like my aunt invited me for the holidays and stuff, but then it's like, oh, can't really because 100 days of mourning. But after that, yeah, maybe New Year's. I feel like I'm gonna have blurred things for this because of my messy room. And then I just realized there's a package behind me with my address on it, so yeah. To be honest, my desk is a mess. I have to clean it. I started cleaning it before, my mom got hospitalized. And then I kind of just stopped because, I don't know, I feel like maybe it's partially trauma from like that night. But I really need to clean my desk because it's where I work on my prints and stuff because I need desk space to do the cutting and all that. So I'm very sorry, but I appreciate everybody. Yeah, I could pause Patreon and I probably should, but also, yeah. I mean, I did let everyone know beforehand that, I like was trying to, I was gonna try to keep up, and then also like I kind of needed the money because I'm taking care of the house now. So yeah, I really need to clean it because I need to catch up and then send everyone the rewards. But thank you everyone for your patience and understanding. I really need to try to be better with this. I'm really bad I am really bad at dealing with traumatic events and being productive. Like, I think my ADHD also does not help that. But yeah, like, my hat's off to everyone who can, like, get back to work and all that and, like, be really productive. Because I'm, like, trying my best to be productive, like, but I'm, like, definitely not 100%. I'm still, like, kind of in a daze, like, I don't feel like I'm here, if that makes sense. I don't know, it just really sucks. Like, I don't know, I hate, like, how hard it is for me to go through, like, push through traumatic events to be productive. Like, I, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager and I had my first major heartbreak, I still, like, I pushed through. Like, why can't I do it now? Is it just because I'm burnt out? I don't know. Because, like, I remember, like, doing my homework. Like, I remember still doing my homework when I was, like, really depressed and sad. And, like, I wouldn't sleep at night because, like, I had that, like, heartbreak anxiety. So I just stayed up. And, yeah. Now I'm just, like, I don't know. I just feel very disassociated. And, like, nothing feels real. It just feels like time for me has stopped. But I know the world hasn't stopped. So, yeah, I just need to try to push through, and it's really hard. Anyways, I rambled a lot, but I guess it was a lot to talk about, right? But yeah, again, thank you guys for listening to me ramble, and yeah, that's where I've been or that's what I've been dealing with. And then yeah, I wanted to edit the vlogs for the first half of the year, but that just didn't happen. Maybe eventually, I don't know. Maybe eventually I will edit at least edit the summer vlogs and my birthday vlog. But also it's like, I know editing those I'll just remember like, oh, my mom was still alive, and then yeah, and then also like every time I go to places that she would go with me, I obviously think about her. Okay, anyways, I think I will be going now because I rambled quite a bit, but yeah, thank you guys for listening, and hopefully I will get back to video editing again. But I've been kind of vlogging here and there, so maybe I'll post that, just like me getting through the days. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Take care, stay cute, and yeah, don't forget to tell the people you care about that you care about them, because you never know when they're gonna go. Bye.